Republic in the city of Ibadan. The first and only labor radio in Africa. Agbalodi of all radio. And in case you are just a first-time listener of the show, this is definitely the place to be. This is where we look in depth into grassroots sport in our state. Check through every association and see how we can develop and make the game better. Like you know, the bedrock, the platform of any great sporting nation is definitely the grassroots. So if you remove the grassroots, and then you might say no sport in such a nation. And that is why Sport Drill is here for you. And of course I got my guest well seated in the studio. And today we're looking into cycling. Of course we've dealt with some array of sports, but today we're moving straight to style cycling. And of course I've got the chairman of your State Cycling Association. He's an engineer and he's an Igbo man. Of course, engineer Ndubuisi Benjamin Okorie, right in the building. He's the chairman of your State Cycling Association. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Raymond.
How are you doing, sir?
Very well. Good to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you in the studios of Pensioners 106.7 FM.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's my first time here, and I'm loving what I'm seeing.
Thank you so much, sir. Of course, you've heard his voice. So let me do a bit of introduction of my guest. The chairman of your State Cycling Association, going by the name Engineer Ndubuisi Benjamin Okorie, who is also fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. Of course, I need not to tell you that he's an engineer by profession. A member of the Cycling Federation of Nigeria and representing Southwest Zone. And of course, also the president of the Indigbo Oyo State chapter. He has his own company in which he is the MD and of course CEO. He's a Christian, married with 3 children, all the way from Abia State. At this primary school, Amoikwe, Item, and of course at the secondary school at Item High School. And of course, back the Bachelor of Engineer at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, and became the chairman of Oyo State Cycling since 1998. So I have an engineer in the building who is into sport and who has been the chairman of Oyo State Cycling Association since 1998. That's a far way back. Wow, 1998. That's a bit. Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you very much.
Let me start from COVID-19. I know we are getting over it bit by bit, but how have you coped with COVID-19?
Yes, I give God the glory. He is the keeper of life to have kept me alive to see today. And it's only by his glory, by his grace, that I am alive. And so he has kept me alive. He has provided everything for me and my family and for those who are around me. And I thank God for what he's doing, still doing. COVID-19 or no COVID-19.
It was a challenging period
for
everybody. I mean, at that moment, because it was what nobody expected. But it came, and thank God, the government have eventually lifted ban on our sport. First, it was a non-contact sport, and I feel cycling is non-contact as well.
Well, to a large extent, it's contact. When you go on a road race, you have a lot of people, maybe hundreds, on the road. You find out that sometimes you make contact.
Okay, so we'll be dwelling in about talking about cycling today. Cycling, a bit of its history, and of course, cycling in Oyo State, most especially, and how the game has been, and of course, what next for the game itself. So let's start from this way. Your journey into sport, how did it all started?
Well, it all started sometime in 1992, precisely here in Oyo State. I was working with a man, a lover of sports, engineer Remy Asuni, who was then the chairman of Oyo FA. And I was very close to him. And I was always coming over to the stadium, especially when shooting stars are playing notable teams in Nigeria then. So I then ran into people, riding cycles around, and I made inquiries because that is one aspect of my life that I've always enjoyed, riding cycles. Bicycle in particular. Starting from my early days in school. And so when I found out that there's an association of cyclists, Cycling Association of Oyo State, I showed interest. And I was co-opted into the membership of the board of Cycling Association of Oyo State in 1992.
In 1992.
1992, and since then it was Chief Gilbert Imaswain was the then chairman of Cycling Association of Oyo State. May he so rest in peace. He was the captain of the ill-fated Bellevue airline.
Yeah.
Then he was a corporate manager of FanMake here.
Then okay.
So later on he went back to flying, which was his love. He went back to pilot aircraft, and unfortunately he died. He was the captain of the ill-fated Bellevue airline, and so it was after that I took over as the chairman of Cycling Association Oyo State.
That's the space of 92 to 96 years.
Yes.
That was a bit fast.
Yes.
Of course, you can watch us live on Facebook at Pensioners FM. At Pensioners FM, you can watch us live on Facebook, or you can go straight to our website and listen to us, www.pensionersfm1067.com, www.pensionersfm1067.com, and you will listen to us live. Okay, you just talk about how you made the grade to, becoming the chairman. And of course, looking at it, when you are very much younger.
Yes.
Did you ever participated in any sport at all?
Apart from at secondary school level, normal football competition within the secondary school, and at the university level, I did only during my first year inter hostel competition in football. I played a little football, and I still love football, but I also played a lot of lawn tennis in my early days in life. And for cycling, I did not participate in sporting activities in cycling. But we had, when I was in secondary school, because the school was about 4 kilometers from my home, and I needed to run to school. Sometimes before going to school, I need to go 4 kilometers in the opposite direction to where we have the post office to check the mail for the week, which I usually do on Wednesdays. So I needed to move very fast, and my mom got me a cycle. So I was using it to run through to go to school, and I was enjoying. I was not the only person. So some other students that had bicycle, we started this form of competition, who will be the first to get to school. And that's where the zeal emanated from.
That is where the passion starts.
Yes.
And that was how the development, your interest in cycling began far back there. Yeah, yes. Of course, most sports men It all starts from passion.
Yes,
Before you
exactly.
know, it turns to a very big thing. But then, let's move forward now. We'll discuss the sport itself. I've seen, in fact, I think the coach of Oyo State Cycling
Yes.
lives very near my site. So
Very.
even when I was coming, I think Friday or Thursday, I still see some of the guys on the road. I mean, doing their thing.
Yes.
What is the game cycling about?
Well, cycling is one of the sporting activities that has gained tremendous impact in Nigeria in recent time. It usually was an elitist form of event because in Europe, mostly in Europe, where you have cycling as a major sporting event, you find out that mainly it is elitist to a large extent. But here in Nigeria, we've been able to bring up cycling to be a major sporting activity within Nigeria, and so it has developed beyond what you can imagine. A lot of people don't know about it, but Nigerians are already making waves in Africa and beyond, and in Europe. In fact, an Oyo State cyclist is the fifth in the whole world.
What's the name?
It's a lady, I'm trying to remember her name. It's a girl. It's the fifth in the whole
In the
world.
whole world.
In the whole world.
Wow.
From Nigeria and from Oyo State. So you can imagine from coming from a little Oyo State that we have such development. And in Africa, Nigeria is rated very high. We are third after Egypt and South Africa. So we are doing very, very well in the area of cycling. It's just that a lot of people are not yet showing interest. But very soon we will start seeing the impact of cycling in Nigerian sports.
A lot of people are not yet showing interest, but then we're looking forward to seeing a lot of fellow human being coming into the game of cycling. As far as cycling is concerned, and just like you said, another state indigenous fifth in the world.
Yes.
And of course, Nigeria is rated third as far as
Africa.
Africa is concerned. We know it's basically bicycle riding. That is riding. That is cycling.
Yes.
But then in every game there is what we call the how to score the game.
Yes.
In football, we know how it's called. In basketball, lawn tennis, how is cycling? Some of the skills and of course some of how is cycling being scored. I mean, how do we know the winner? How do we know who is? I mean,
it's mainly by timing. It's mainly by timing, just like in athletics. But the beauty of cycling is that in cycling alone, you might have about 52 events. To that 52 events,
just in cycling alone.
Just in cycling alone. To that extent that if we are good in cycling, you can bring about a medal haul that can place the nation or the state at the highest level just from cycling alone. And we have the indoor cycling, we have the outdoor cycling, we have the road race, what we call the road race, and we have the time trial events for various groups, for various distances and all that. And so you have about 52 events in cycling alone. And we also have a velodrome, which is like a stadium, where it becomes an indoor in a velodrome, and you also have so many events within the individual time trial, the collective time trial, and you have the race involving various cyclists. And it's basically the timing that is used to determine, even though there are other criteria, like you cannot leave your track if it is within the velodrome to go into another person's track. It's at certain level, you cannot overtake somebody, in dangerous places and all that. So there are rules and regulations that guide, but within our period time frame here, it's not something that one can really. It's a lot.
I would still want us to dive a bit because some of the rules need to be. Our listener want to know one or two, three of those rules that guide cycling.
Yes. One, let me start with you must be well dressed, well kitted.
Well kitted.
To be able to go into cycling. You must have your crash helmet, you must have your gloves, you must have your the shoes that will encourage you in cycling, and you must have the necessary equipment Because if there's a breakdown or you have a flat tire, it's expected that usually the cycle tire is changed within a second. Because it's only one grip. You just turn it off, you put another one, you slip it in, and you lock it.
The cyclist or the team does that? Or the cyclist?
No, there is usually a technical team.
Okay.
The mechanics that are always with them. You have the engineers, or you call them, that will be around them. You have everything fully packaged. You have the medicals. You have even people who will give them support if it's in a long race, who will give them support and all that. So to be able to. So it's a lot. It's a whole lot.
It's a lot. So how expensive is cycling?
Very, very expensive. I can tell you that. Because a good cycle will cost you, well, let's do a conversion using 400. You can have a cycle that is about $6,000, one cycle.
Just one cycle?
Just one cycle.
Is that expensive? $6,000?
It's that expensive.
That's a bit.
That's the way it is.
If
a good quality cycle is not less than $2,000.
A good quality cycle. So that means your cycle can aid your performance.
Yes, of course. Perfectly. Every year, like every other mechanics, new things are developed that will encourage the aerodynamics as you move along. That will not restrict you from moving. In fact, to that extent, weight is very, very important. You find out that most cycles now are made from fiberglass, so as to reduce weight. Yes, and that gives you greater.
Makes it light, and you move as fast as possible. Cycling in Oyo State and sport drill. I still have my guest, engineer Ndubuisi Okorie, chairman of Oyo State Cycling Association. So looking at still within the rules and of course the techniques that guide, what makes a good a cyclist? I mean, going to the game as a profession now, as a career.
Yes.
What do you need to do?
Well, you must have stamina. It's very, very important because it's a sport that needs a lot of energy to be able to. You must be healthy. You also must be able to learn the tricks. Because it's not just riding cycle. There are rules that will encourage you in every area of cycling. And that's why it's something you do on daily basis if you must get it right.
Everyday practice.
Yes, that's why you see our cyclists here in Oyo State. Every day they're on the road either to Abeokuta or to Lagos or to Iwo or to Ife. And to make sure that at every point in time they are in top form.
At any point in time. So they travel as far as, just for training, as far as Abeokuta?
Yes, for training.
Just for training?
Just for training.
From Ibadan?
From Ibadan.
And they come back again?
They come back riding the bicycle.
I will take a lot of hours.
Well, it's not hours. You'll be surprised.
Because
from here to Abeokuta, a cyclist can do it in 1 hour 30 minutes.
From here to Abeokuta?
From here to Abeokuta.
1 hour 30 minutes?
Yes.
And it's back?
And it's back.
To and fro?
No.
Okay, just to Abeokuta and coming back. That's fine. That's good. So what are some of the skills? Some of the skills of cycling?
Being able to know when to break out, especially if you are in a road race. You might see somebody who has been slowing down. He's gaining energy.
Okay.
He's gaining energy. A time will come,
he
will take off. We call it breaking out from the group. And if a good rider should know the best time to break out, and a coach should also know the best time that the cyclists will break out. And these are the reasons why they follow them along as they are riding, so that you just give him a sign to break out. And once you break out, a good cyclist, if he breaks out, you can never catch up with him.
That's the end.
That's the end. He's heading straight to to the line.
Heading straight to the line. Let's go to the velodrome. I've heard the word
Velodrome.
a lot of time. What is a velodrome itself?
A velodrome is, putting it in simple language, is a stadium for
Okay.
cyclists. And to the glory of God, Nigeria is the only one with the standards velodrome now in West Africa. In fact, ours is rated about the best in Africa.
Nigeria is the only
Yes,
country in West Africa with a velodrome,
with
and rated the best,
one of the best.
one of the best in Africa. Where is it located?
It's located in Abuja, inside the stadium,
The stadium,
the
Moshood Abiola.
Moshood Abiola Stadium.
Okay, so a velodrome is just like a stadium, and every other
Yes.
cycling competition takes place,
inside the velodrome.
and that's the only
One in West Africa.
in West Africa.
Yes.
What does it cost to have a velodrome?
Wow. Well, being modest, I would say that it costs you about twice what we use to construct the Adamasiga Stadium for you to have a velodrome.
You're making me laugh.
No, but I'm being sincere, I'm being frank, being
It
factual.
will cost.
Twice what you use to build the.
Is it about the size or what?
It's not about the size, it's what is inside.
Inside itself.
Yes. I
What
will tell
makes
you
all
that. Yes, I will tell you that in a velodrome, the angle of slope, because it's about it's so slopey,
Yes.
but the cycles can still go up
Up
high up
there.
and then come down. So you have specially treated wood that is used to prepare the velodrome. And it shouldn't have any scratch because that could cause a crash. And it requires continuous maintenance for you to keep the velodrome in form.
Twice. I'm trying to wrap my head around it. Because I look like
Yes, well,
twice.
because of what is inside.
That shows how expensive.
Cycling is. That's why I said it's elitist. It's not like football.
It's not like just what you can see around.
No, it's just no.
It takes a lot.
To get a cycle, to get a good bicycle would take you a minimum of $2,000 each.
To get a good
Bicycle, a racing bicycle.
Wow. Constructing a velodrome will take twice the amount.
Yes.
I don't Lagos Salami Stadium. I don't know we are there. 5.5 billion have been earmarked. That means to get a velodrome,
You'll be looking at 10 billion.
10 billion. That's it.
Close, close to it, I'm sure. I'm serious about it.
You heard that.
Talking about the velodrome, for it to be acceptable as a place for international competition, the international body, just like we have FIFA, we have the UCI as the world governing body
for cycling.
They will have to come with verifications and make sure that all the standards are met for you to use it for any international competition. Luckily, sometime last year in June, precisely, July, Nigeria hosted an indoor event for the whole of Africa at the National Stadium in Abuja. Moshood Abiola, the velodrome there. And countries of Africa came, Egypt, Cote d'Ivoire, South Africa, name it. And to the glory of God, UCI, all the technical team of UCI were present, including the CAC, that's the African body is called CAC, CAC. President was there live, and it was a successful event.
Is it feasible? I always jump into your state in the second half. I just want to ask you before we go on break. Is it feasible to have a velodrome in your state? How visible is this?
Well, it depends on the interest. And fortunately for us in Oyo State is one of the best cycling states in Nigeria. In the last 7 national sports festival, Oyo State have already recorded first or second position in cycling And cycling gives Oyo State the highest number of medal in any competition that has taken place in Nigeria. So Oyo deserves a velodrome if we have the will.
Oyo State deserves a velodrome if we have the will. But it's not going to come by that. A lot of money. A lot of money. So can any of Oyo State cyclists use the velodrome? Because since we don't have it.
Perfectly.
You can.
Yes, they have been going on camping in Abuja.
Okay.
We have our national coach, our national technical crew that takes care of them. They have been in camping in Bauchi because there's going to be a competition coming up soon, both in Africa as the lockdown eases off, both in Africa and in the world. Just recently, they won the World Cycling Competition that was supposed to have taken place in June this 2020 in Switzerland was cancelled because of the COVID-19. But it's been rescheduled for before the end of the year. It's going to be somewhere in Bologna, in Italy. In Italy. So we are still looking forward that our cyclists from Oyo State will be part of that. They have been going to South Africa, they've been to Ethiopia, they've been to Egypt for competition, they've been to Italy for competition. And so they are well prepared and they are training daily. They have a camp in Bauchi where they usually go because of the environment and what we have there in terms of hills and all that. That will give them a good training ground. So we are looking forward to great competition.
Okay, we are looking forward to good competition. Of course, it's still Sport Drill on Personals 106.7 FM. My guest has been Engineer Ndubuisi Okorie, the chairman of the State Cycling Association. We will go on a quick break, take a quick break right now. And of course, when we come back, we'll now come back into Oyo State and we'll discuss cycling in Oyo State fully. Stay tuned.
You've heard the fans.
Frank Lampard, Andre Iniesta, and Zinedine Zidane. I choose Frank Lampard, Paul Scholes, and John Mikel.
You felt the tussle.
Yes, went to La Liga where he flourished more. I said he racked up more goals and assists.
Now it's about to turn into a war.
It's a one league team. One team league. One team league. Just Bayern Munich and others. Concerning the sack of that penalty.
It's the first ever sports tussle competition in Oyo State. 16 tusslers, one winner. Starting 6th September to 27th of December 2020. First prize 20,000 naira. Second prize 15,000 naira. Third prize 10,000 naira. Fourth prize 5,000 naira. Every Sunday from 3 to 4 p.m. on Pensioners 106.7 FM. Available in New Cable. Host Raymond Stululope, the Sports Illuminator.
For further inquiries, sponsorship and advert placement, contact Pensioners FM on 0906-286-4317, 0906-286-4317, or the Sports Illuminator on 0902-672-1042, 0902-672-1042.
It's the first ever sports tussle competition.
Welcome back from that break. And tomorrow, right here on Pensioners 106.7 FM, first of its kind in Oyo State. First ever sports tussle competition. You won't want to miss out on that. And kicks off officially tomorrow, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. right here on Pensioners 106.7 FM. And of course, prizes are up for grabs at that in that short advert. And in case you want to be part of this, you want to possibly partner or sponsor the program, or play some advert, definitely we are available for you. All you need to do is just send a message or a dial for mine at 090267211042. 090-2672-1042. Definitely, we will do business together. Okay, we'll come back to sport drill. See how we meet. Engineer Ndubuisi Okorie, the chairman of Oyo State Cycling Association. Now coming back down to Oyo State fully now. How is cycling? You've been part of it since 1992 before you became chairman in 1990. That's some 22 years ago.
Yes.
That's far back. How will you rate cycling in Oyo State?
I will rate cycling in Oyo State very, very high. Outside football, cycling has made much more impact in sporting activities in Oyo State than any other sports. I can say that.
I've been able to speak with a lot of association chairman.
Yes.
Outside football, cycling is the next thing I've made Oyo State proud. Athletics chairman.
Yes.
Ogada.
Ogada.
Will tell me athletics after football.
But let me say this with due respect to my brother Friday Ogada. If you go down the history, the records are there for anybody to. All the national sports festival that have been held from the 90s up to this moment, cycling has been able to give Oyo State more medals than any other sport.
Cycling have been able to give Oyo State more medals.
I stand to be challenged. My brother Makinde there is the GM. He has been part of it for a very long time.
The world is listening.
Yes, the record is there for everybody to check.
Let's break down the achievements. Let's break down some of the achievements of Oyo State over the years.
And also Oyo State has produced the best male cycling in Nigeria. Produced the best female who went to all African Games and got a medal, a gold medal, the first of its kind in Nigeria. That cycling brought a medal to Nigeria is through Oyo State. And they went to the youth championship in Algeria, and they also were there in their numbers, Oyo State, and they brought medals back in cycling. So cycling has done very, very well in Oyo State. I stand to be challenged.
That's fantastic. I mean, it looks so underrated actually, because when you look at the plethora of sports,
Yes.
I mean, even on a general basis now, you will think, first thing you think football,
Yes.
you think possibly basketball, you think athletics, you think maybe volleyball. Before you think cycling, I'm sure some people
Going to
would
boxing and all
boxing,
that,
exactly.
and weightlifting and all that.
I know that judo.
Judo.
When you talk cycling, a lot of people will be like, does cycling really exist in Oyo State? I'm sure some people will still be thinking.
Well, but they need to cross-check.
It's good to hear. I mean, achievement.
Yes.
I mean, within Oyo State, even when we don't have.
I'm proud, and let me just say this. A cyclist left Oyo State and traveled as far as Australia and made his mark in Australia in cycling. And he's still relating with us here in Oyo State. It has been a great encouragement to a lot of the cyclists in Oyo State. And that's because over the years we have had team of devoted, sound coaches and commissaires. Oyo State has produced a lot of coaches and commissaires. And at every point in time, we have availed ourselves of the resources available. From these people, a few of them had gone to be with the Lord. A few of them, like Reverend Duro Dela, is still alive. Pat Okena is still alive. You know, and a host of others. And they are still available at any point in time we want to call on them for technical advice on how to develop cycling. In the next week, we are going to have a meeting because there's a competition that is coming up, and it's all geared towards making sure that we maintain our position in cycling.
Moving forward now, like I said, I've looked into some associations in Oyo State. And little achievement and possibly a lot of complaint there about finances, administration, and lots more. With what you have just said, what have been the bedrock of this achievement? What have been the platform? What has the association done so right that have brought, apart from football, like you said, cycling has been the next thing? What has the association done so well, so right?
I will start by giving kudos to the members of the Oyo State Sports Council. With little or nothing, they have been a great encouragement to cycling, because each time we go to them with requests, they might not come up with everything we have, especially in the area of being able to engage the cyclist. It's very, very important. Other states spend a lot of money paying for these cyclists to come to their state. But here, with good relationship, we've been able to keep most of our theme. We know there have been some poaching here and there as the Sports Festival draws near. But then, to God be the glory, we have been able to do that. So we have maintained a good relationship with the management of the Sports Council. Secondly, it has been by individual effort. In terms of funding of the association, I will not say the state has done much. No. I have to call a spade a spade. I will not say they have done a lot in the area of encouraging us by employing, let me use the word employing, some of these cyclists, and some they give stipends, as form of encouragement to retain them within the association. But aside from that, we've cried out in the area of the technical material, the materials we require, cycles,
the kits, the helmets,
everything that has been by individual efforts that we have been able to sustain in cycling.
By individual effort. You can be part of the program. Maybe you have one or two contribution or question for my guest, Engineer Ndubuisi Okorie. Of course, the studio line 090-8111-1067, 090-8111-1067, or 080-8010-1067, 080-8010-1067. You can go to our Facebook page, Personals FM, and drop your message. So, Ajudin Adewale, I can see you saying, welcome, sir. It's greeting you. So, moving, now you said it's by.
Yes, I want to add something to that.
Okay.
Recently, the chairman of all the associations had a meeting with the Oyo State Commissioner for Youth and Sports, and a lot of requests were made and a lot of promises were made. But we can see with the development, encouraging development that is coming up in Adamasiba. I hope after the renovation, which is costing the state government a lot of money, they will be able to look into the request of the various associations, so that not only with the physical facilities, but with the development of the individuals, then sports will be able to come back to its exalted position in Oyo State.
In Oyo State, how do you get this talent? I mean, talking about discovering of talent within the state.
We have a program even up to the 1 year and 2 years, where you see them. If you go to the stadium on Saturdays, you see all these little kids riding bicycle all out. We catch them young, go beyond the towns to the various zones in search of good talents to bring into cycling. And so that has helped us. And we are encouraging cycling, because even in the world we live now, cycling is being made very, very popular all over the world for transportation, for physical training of the body, and for sporting activities.
Cycling for transportation, physical state of the body, and of course for transportation.
For competition.
For competition as well.
Yes.
Fantastic. So, in Oyo State, I stand to be corrected. I don't know if I have any competition that takes place on a yearly basis for cycling.
Not in recent time. Before, we had the Great Bike Race, that was taking place in Oyo State, which my company have been able to sponsor about 3 times in time past. But in recent time, we've not been able, because it takes a lot of money to be able to organize a competition in what you might call a national competition, because whenever such competition comes up, it goes around the whole states of the federation. We used to have the Mortina race that was being sponsored by Nigerian breweries, but that was stopped some time ago for reasons best known to them. And then we've not had any competition of that status in recent time. But at the state level, we've been able to organize competition. The last one took place about, I think, 3 years ago. 3 years ago was the last time we had a national competition in Oyo State.
Oyo State. So 3-4 years, a bit. 2016, 2017.
Yeah,
that's a bit far back. How easy is it to get sponsors for this?
It's an uncommon sport. That's what I will tell you. We have been able to. We have reached out to so many companies. When Imeswen was alive, FanMake helped out when he was in the corporate manager of FanMake. FanMake helped a lot, but in recent time we have tried other people, but
none is responding.
They're not forthcoming.
None is responding. So let's go to the technical area, which is for me very, very important. The coaches and those in charge of training. As far as the cyclist, Oyo State Cycling Association is concerned, how many coaches do they have on board?
We have about 4 of them.
4.
Yes.
Over how many cyclists?
Well, if you are looking at those who might call competition materials, which is where our focus is, even though we encourage the other ones to come up and all that, we normally, for you to form a team, for the male you have about 7 cyclists. To form a team for the female you have about 5, and so you must, of necessity, have a minimum of about 20 in training at every point in time, from which you'll be able to select 5. And as they come, we review their status and know those who will put into the team for the competition.
So that means for competition, at least 20 cyclists.
At least.
And we have more cyclists apart from that.
I will have more.
But then we're having 4 coaches.
Yes.
Is that enough?
It's not enough, but it's fair enough. If they know what they're doing. We have other technical team. We have the mechanics and all that who are also still part of it. You have the secretary, you have somebody medicals who also follow them. Yeah. So it's a complete unit. But I'm just looking at, like, the lead coach being Larry. We have Joy. We have about 2 other coaches. And they have been undergoing training. Recently, UCI conducted a training session for coaches in Abuja and for commissaires. Commissaires are the referees.
Okay.
In cycling, and we have a bunch of them here in Oyo State, and they are very, very good. Recognized. Joy have been going places, to Italy, to Egypt, to South Africa, and all that places. So he's well, grounded in training. So,
but you will agree with me that you need more hands on board, coaches.
Well, it takes money for you to be able to pay them salaries, allowances, and all that. And in the times we have talked about it. Funding has been a major challenge, but we thank God for what we have.
I was going to go to the challenge. I'm looking at our time. Challenges you faced, or challenges cycling is facing or has faced.
The greatest is in the area of making available competition-worthy bicycles.
Competition-worthy bicycles.
In the area of technical materials was lagging behind. And I will encourage individuals who have interest in cycling to please come to our aid. That's one major area. The materials they require in terms of helmet, in terms of boots, in terms of riding kits, in mainly also majorly the bicycles are no longer there. What we have now are more than 12 years, 10, 12 years old, and so they are not good enough. I know through the efforts of individuals we've been able to, because we need spares to be able to maintain those bicycles in terms of tires, in terms of sprocket, in terms of chains, in terms of so many things to be able to maintain them. Individuals are helping out. Secondly, to be able to go to competitions, even at the national level, most times you have a problem. Whereby when we are supposed to go with a complete team of 5 and 7, we are given 3 and 4, which does not give us enough cyclists to be able to feature in all various cycling activities. And so we are shortchanging ourselves because there's a limit to which 4 can go. When you have a team of at least about 7.
So these are some of the challenges.
Yes. And the area of transportation, I don't think, unless that has changed, that in your state sports council that we have a vehicle that we can use, assuming there's a competition in Ghana or even in Benin Republic. I don't think we have a vehicle that we can say this.
It's for the association.
Yes, not just for the association.
Just for the whole.
Yes, and I don't think we have. But I know that Shooting Stars as a team, they have their own boats and all that, and that's fair enough. But for other sporting associations, the athletics, we don't have a vehicle that we can
use when competition comes for transportation, most especially. Okay, let's go to the commissioners, the referees, like you say, the officials.
Yes.
The relationship between coaches, cyclist coaches or association rather, and the officials, the referees.
Yes.
What has been the relationship? And in competition, let me say, since you have no competition in your state, let me say, in possibly, let me still use the word competition. Who takes over? Who oversees?
Well, the Commissaire Association, it's a body, like you have the Referee Association. Wherever there is an event that is coming up, they come together from various states of the federation. They have a president of the commissaires, and you have other officers of the commissaires. They bring the commissaires from all over Nigeria for every competition that has to take place, for it to be recognized by the Cycling Federation of Nigeria. And they have their standards, they have their procedures. Luckily, we have electronics, gadgets that you use to time, unlike before when you use physical timing.
Okay.
No. Where now, if it crosses, it's timed, and so it makes it a lot easier that you cannot say now that you are cheating or you are giving a preference to one cyclist to the other, because it's electronically monitored. And so there's a good relationship existing between the Commissaire Association and the Federation in Nigeria.
Does all state have its own chapter of the commissaires?
No, not that I know yet.
The reason why I asked that was the situations where they have been complaining about not cycling. Now, maybe other sports, I talked about the coaches taking the work of the commissaires. I mean, the work of the referees, for instance.
No, it doesn't happen.
And which I feel it's not too good taking the game forward, because the work of the referee or commissaires, or let me say referees in general now, in general terms in sports, is different from being a coach. So you don't want to tell me you have the knowledge of a referee and decided. And you are a coach.
It doesn't happen in cycling.
Yeah, okay. Good to hear, no controversy there. Now, going to other zones. Now, we've talked about Ibadan. Ibadan is the capital and everybody can relate. Other zones, there are 6 zones as far as Oyo State is concerned.
Yes.
Other zones, how is cycling in other zones? Because that is where, like I said, it's easier in Ibadan.
it's
But
been
over there,
yes, it's been a lot of challenge being able to go to other zones. But we reach out to the zonal coordinators.
okay,
If anybody is showing interest in cycling, most of the good hands we have in Ibadan are also people that have come from Okiogun. Particularly the Okiogun area has been a source of, or your Okiogun area. I want to use this opportunity, if they are listening, that cycling is a good sport. It's sports where you can develop to any level internationally. And I'm encouraging the zonal coordinators of the Oyo State sports to also look into the area of cycling in the various zones. And if they see any talent, we are willing to grab them here in the capital, Ibadan, to train them to world standard in cycling.
To train you to world standard in cycling. So, we are close to time now. Let me put this to you. What are the programs you have on ground for cycling?
Well, the COVID year has come and is going.
Yes.
Usually we draw the program alongside with the federation. As a federation, we had lined up a lot of events for the year 2020 that has been truncated by the pandemic that we have found ourselves in, and we are still looking at it as the events unfold, as the lockdown is being opened up. I'm sure we had a meeting a few days behind, and we are looking at meeting again sometime in October to review the state of affairs in Nigeria and see if there's still possibility in the year 2020 to have any form of competition. The last year was full of events, both in and outside Nigeria. In fact, Nigeria is supposed to be working towards hosting the World Cycling, the African Cycling Championship at the Velodrome in Abuja. Yes.
Just a minute or two before I say my BYE today on the program Sports Drill, I've been speaking with Oyo State Cycling Association Chairman, Engineer Ndubuisi Okorie. We're discussing cycling. Going by the record, that cycling is one sport that is aiding Oyo State doing well at the moment. And of course, like I used to say, if your association in sport is doing fantastic well, you will hear from us. I will tell you they are doing well. If you are doing the other, definitely you are going to hear that you are not doing well. Because the sport, like I used to say, is life. It can take you anywhere in the world. Don't get it twisted. You've seen nations who invested in sport and they are reaping it. And we are looking forward to see Oyo State do the same. Invest in sport, and of course, we will definitely reap it because it will take a lot. It will affect a positive effect on the economy. We have to go, sir. I would have loved us to continue, but time. Before the DCA start running in us. Thank you so much for coming on Pensioners 106.7 FM.
I want to thank the governor of Oyo State for the good job he's doing in Adamasingba, and I'm sure it will be extended to other zones, so that sport and sporting activities will continue to be up there in Oyo State.
How will you rate Pensioners? I know first time coming in. How will you rate our studio and our production?
Excellent. Excellent. I've enjoyed everything about it. Looking at the environment, exquisite, well taken care of. I think being the first labor radio in Africa. We have just done it again.
Okay, many thanks to LUP for people giving people like us a chance. Of course, definitely, if this is not happening, then maybe you will not be hearing Raymond to look on the radio, definitely. I will have to go.
Thank you so much, Raymond.
You're welcome on board. Thank you so much for coming. Of course, I will have to go at this moment on the program called Sport Drill. Next week is another time on the show. And of course, we're calling on individuals to support sport in Oyo State. And if you have a child, definitely come down to Adamasingba. and of course, encourage or child in the game. Or you can get across to me at 09026721042, 090261042. And of course, many thanks to my producer, Babatunde Tiami, and of course my DC on duty, Baba Femi Obide. I remain a Raymond to look with the sports illuminator. I'm saying enjoy the rest of your weekend and have a lovely, lovely, lovely weekend. Good afternoon.
You've heard the fans.